If you don't know me, my name's Lee Hoy. I am OM System Ambassador and Senior Photography Workshop Instructor for Wildside, as well as a Photography Workshop Instructor for Precision Camera and Video. And I wanted to put together this presentation because so often on workshops out in the field, inevitably, there's always a participant or two or something that they don't have the gear they need, or they're missing something, or they forgot to bring something. Or they're not organized. And when you travel as much as I do, doing photography, you get to where you really find out the things you need when you're out in the field, okay? And I wanted to kind of tell you, and I, particularly with faster drive modes, right, on our cameras, with faster drive modes, it's even more important that we hold on. I'm trying to move my zoom so I can at least see some of y'all here. You know, I take a lot more pictures now than ever before because of drive modes. I mean, I think on the last Brazil trip, I probably captured 40, 50,000 images, right? And I want to be able to cull those quickly. I have a huge NAS Synology drive where I store my images. I think I have 60 terabytes in it, and it's bloody near well full. And I'm like, okay, I got to start culling more images because I just don't. I think my catalog is nearing 900,000 images. That's just a lot, you know. So I wanted to kind of help y'all with a system of gear and processing and editing that I am now undertaking when I'm out in the field. Okay. So the first thing I kind of want to share with you all today, I'm going to talk about some of the equipment that I tend to use in the field. Because the first thing is when we leave home, right? And I get people ask me a lot, do I use a backpack? Do I use a rolling bag? And for me, I've used both. I own a bunch of bags. I'll be honest, I'm a bag aficionado. I own crazy number, hard cases, rolling cases, backpacks. But time and time again, I use the same one. And I use the Think Tank Airport Roller Derby. Now, before y'all start taking notes, I have some good news. I made a downloadable PDF that you can find on my website at leehoyphotography.com, where if you go to online training, you can download it, and it'll have links to all the gear I'm going to show you, okay? And one of the reasons I really like the Think Tank Roller Derby is it is designed to fit in the overhead of all regional jets and above. Now, numerous times I have airport personnel try to tell me this will not fit. It has fit on every single plane, even the new small ones that often go out of El Paso. It is fit in the overhead on every single plane. If they try to take from me, I say, well, follow me on the plane. Let me show you. It's going to fit. It's going to work. So this is, I know one reason why I'd be getting feedback too. Terry, make sure to mute yourself again. You know, go ahead and mute yourself back. So this should help knowing when you buy a bag that will 100% fit. You can just tell them, look, this bag was designed to go in all the jets. Now, what I love about it is it's a rolling case, okay? And not only that, but with the telephone, it has an extension handle. And I also use what's called the Think Tank 15 for my laptop. This is a pretty good sized laptop case, and it has a big compartment, and it comes with dividers. I can even put additional camera gear in here. Now, I really travel with enough cords and everything else. I really don't generally have room for more camera gear. But the beauty of the Think Tank 15 is it's got this little strap on the back, which many do, and it just slides right over the handle, okay? So it's really easy. I can roll this through the airport. I'm not carrying any weight, and it works really well. It's got a nice sleeve, you know, for my laptop. It's got this big area. And then it's even got some additional carrying space on the front, a Velcro pouch on the front, and another pouch on the back. So, and then a water bottle holder on the end. There are times I know where my roller bag, my laptop bag probably outweigh my check baggage, but you would know it from looking at it because I'm just rolling it right down the airport. So this is the Think Tank 15, okay? So between these two, I'm not having to carry the weight through an airport and put all that weight on my back. particularly if you're sprinting through the airport, that's not fun. So for me, those two bags have really made a difference. They're both from Think Tank as well. So what do I then put in my cases? I am very organized because it got to where I get tired of trying to find stuff, right? Like it's really aggravating when you're on the road, you're in a hotel room, and I don't like living out of bags. So if I'm in a hotel room for 2 nights or longer, I completely unpack all my clothes and everything. Makes it feel like I'm not on the road as much. But that means things still need to be organized. So a couple of things that I use when I'm on the road. One, all of my portable drives go into a low pro accessory bag. Okay. And what I like about this, it has this little insert, and I put the cords for every drive in here. And then I generally travel with anywhere from 4 to 5 portable SSD drives. Okay. And then they have these little straps, and then there's a pouch back here. So I know that all my external drives and the cords I need for them are in one bag. Makes life really simple. Now you may go, well, Lee, I'm not going to travel with 4 or 5 external drives. No problem. But one of these bags can also hold your cords. And you'll see I have multiple bags of cords because I organize them all differently. And by the way, if you have a question, you can switch back for participants. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we got muted. Another way, Marcia, guys, if your feed is switching back and forth at times, in the upper right of Zoom, click view and take it off speaker and put it on gallery, and that can help too. So this is my external drive bag, and I'm going to show you the external drives I'm using now, but that's the bag I use for it. Then my camera charging, okay? If I want to charge my cameras, I often charge them in camera. So this side are all the cords for charging in camera, but I also have a separate battery charger. So everything I need to charge batteries or batteries in camera go into another bag. This is the Tinba, I think, Duo pouch. And again, I'll have a link for you in that handout. But this is awesome. It's got holders on both sides. And the thing about when you put this stuff in a pouch, it slides into camera bags and laptop cases much better. It's much easier to pack rather than when it's loose. Sometimes little things, yeah, you can slide them in, but I just find the more things I have in a bag, it also makes it much easier going through TSA checkpoints. If you need to pull something out, there it is. They're not getting everything all messed up. But this is my charging bag. This always stays with me on the plane. It never goes below. Okay, so certain things, this stays with me. And this is my laptop charging bag. So another thing I like to travel with, this is going to be my laptop accessories bag. This is a ProMaster Impulse, and I think it's the Impulse SE. What I like about this bag, it has, so here, if I end up having to do a presentation, I've got my remote, my computer mouse, I've got a little mini docking station, HDMI converters for different things, because I never know when I'm going to show up somewhere and need one. But then it's got below that little pouch. Let me find the other thing. Then I've got this. Okay. So I've got some computer cords up here. I've got my plug-in for my laptop here, and then I can carry my travel converters on this side. So again, I have a long HDMI cable, which a lot of these cables you may or may not need, but the bags are still useful. It's got Velcro. So here you can see my MacBook cord and plug are right here. So again, this stays with me on the plane. Okay. And again, you won't need probably remotes for a presentation or things, but you can certainly condense things in one bag that I might need 2 or 3 bags to handle. Another thing I like to do you should always travel with a photography cleaning kit. Okay. So this is my dry location cleaning kit. So if I'm going to Africa, if I'm going to Big Bend, if I'm going Yellowstone in winter, whatever, I'm going to take this bag, and you should have, I have an anti-static brush. Some brushes, if they're not anti-static and you're trying to clean off a camera like Yellowstone in winter up there with all that static electricity, the stuff, it just sticks to the lens over and over, but this, it won't do that. So an anti-static brush. I always have a blower. Okay. I always have my lipstick. No, I'm cheating. I have a brush, a camera, a lens brush. That's not anti-static. I always have plenty of Wildside, lens cloths. And then I have one of the thicker ones in case I need to get something like a moisture or whatever off my lens. The nice thing is then all of my cleaning kit goes into one bag, right? And makes it easier to pack. Now, if I'm going to a sandy, wet location like the Galapagos, or if I'm going to a beach, like I'm doing a bird and flight workshop coming up in Rockport for Precision Camera. I'm doing the Florida one for Wildside, Mastering Bird Photography, OM only. That's coming up in March next year. I will probably take my Pelican waterproof case that I then put this stuff in. That keeps sand and water out. So this bag, my lens cleaning kit, dry locations, the Pelican small, waterproof case goes to keep the sand out, to keep the wet out. So depending on your destination, I use two different bags. Let's talk about another interesting case. I don't know about you, but I cannot stand listening on an airplane to crying kids or barking dogs or people's personal phone calls. So I carry not one, but two sets of headphones, because if the battery dies on my AirPods, so I've got a case that I can easily take out of my laptop bag. And not only does it have my headphones, but I have then a portable charger, okay, where the cord comes out the back. So I can charge my phone, my iPad, my, AirPods, whatever. This is the Thule accessory bag. And I really like this bag because it was designed to hold one of these chargers. Another great thing is if you put I'll talk about air tags in a bit, but if you have AirPods, a lot of things. I had this bag stolen off a flight coming from Chicago to El Paso, and I used Find My app on my phone. I found the store they sold the AirPods to and said, "I'm sorry, you bought stolen property. I'm going to have to come get those." And I got both sets of my AirPods back. So don't forget about the Find My. So that leads me to every big bag, my laptop case, my computer bag, any hard case I take with me, any luggage, all have an air tag in it. Or if you have an Android phone, Tile. So this one is actually a locking one. I can open this case, put it in, and lock it. And they can't steal the air tag. They can't throw it out. There are stick-ons. There are keychains. There's a variety of ways to attach an air tag. But I rename every air tag. So one will say camera bag, camera rolling bag. And if I ever lose it, or let's say on my luggage, I can actually look and see where my luggage is. Did it make it to the plane? Regardless of what the American Airlines or Delta or United or whoever's app says, I can say, oh, it's beeping right under my butt, and I know my luggage is on the plane. And if it's ever lost or stolen, you can find it that way. So I always keep an air tag. Now, the batteries do run down over time, but they're easy enough to replace. So I highly recommend using an air tag or a Tile in all of your bags whenever you travel, okay? Then I have my miscellaneous charging bag. So, your iPhone, your watch, your whatever you have at your desk side, at your bedside in your room, that goes into a separate bag for me. That way I just know this is the bag I pull out for that, right? This is the Timba single. It has it only has one side. Then a couple of other bags I really like to use. Timba has this nice little case. They have one a little bigger than this. This is what I put all my macro lights, not flashes, but macro lights. You can use it for very small lenses. Like for the OM system, I can put, there's 3 different lenses that would all fit here, no problem. So when I'm doing underwater photography, all my underwater lenses will go into one of these bags. So again, the beauty of having all these bags is just the ease of packing, tracking, organizing, and knowing exactly where things are that I want. F-Stop, I have their camera backpacks and I love their backpacks, but they also make these wonderful little accessory pouches, right? So this is my remotes for my OM1 and backup batteries. So do I want a remote for my OM? I know what bag to go to. Do you ever get tired of hunting and pecking through your camera bag? This stops all that, right? So by using the same bag in the same place all the time, you're not panicking trying to find stuff. So this little pouch, that's what I use for my remotes for my OM1. Then they make some bigger access. Did I mention I have a bag fetish? All right, let's be honest here. So this is the F-Stop larger accessory. They have a medium and a large. This is perfect for flashes. Okay, so one of my OM system 700 flash. I've got rechargeable batteries. I've got the little battery that goes on top of my AK diffuser. And then I can put other accessories that go with my flash. So the one I use for bird photography is a bigger flash with a big bracket. It all goes into one bag. So I want to use my macro flash. Boom, I just grab this bag. I want to use my bird photography flash. I grab the other bag. So again, it just helps me keep everything organized and not constantly hunting and pecking for things. People ask, should you go on a trip with a sensor cleaning kit? And most of you probably just shook nervously when I said cleaning your sensor. I always clean my own sensor. However, I spoke with a gentleman at a birding festival out in Florida who does cleaning sensors for a living. And I learned from him that not all sensor swabs are the same. Different sensors require different swabs. So do not just go out and buy one and not pay attention. Ask a knowledgeable camera salesperson or B&H, online, whatever, which sensor swab works for your camera. Because the first time I went and bought one, I said, I need one for an OM1 sensor or Mac, limp OM system. And I got home, I paid $57 for this kit, and the sensor swab was for a full frame camera. Check it before you leave. So I had to go back and get the right one. And sensor solution, not all sensor solution is the same. Cleaning your sensor is not that hard and not that big a deal. Now, if you shake some or you're not confident, then by all means have someone else do it. So I don't always travel with this. But I generally try to keep it if I have room for it. The only time I've ever had to clean in my OM sensor swab, I was changing lenses, talking to someone, and I saw the little spittle fly out, and it was like, boom, right on the sensor. It was like, you have got to be kidding me. So now I usually try to take it with me all the time. All right, let's get into smaller bags, right? Well, there's things that I want to have in my camera case that I just want to grab and put on my photography vest or in my pocket. One of them is your memory cards. Two things that I would say the majority of photographers do not travel with enough of, and that is memory cards and batteries. I know it's all money, right? But if you spent $5, $6, $7 or more getting to a destination on a workshop with me, and I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but I had a client show up in the Amazon riverboat trip. And after the first day said, hey, my memory card's full. And I said, well, upload it to your laptop. Well, I didn't bring it. I said, well, do you have other memory cards? No. I ended up loaning them a memory card and saving their hide. But can you imagine spending all that money to go down there with one memory card and no laptop? I'm surprised how many clients don't travel with a laptop or something to upload their images to. What if you keep all your images on one memory card and at the end of the trip, your memory card goes kaput? I would never do that. So you will see here, this is the Pelican memory card case. Several companies make them. I like this one because it's waterproof, but it holds. So every camera of mine that has two memory card slots, and I think all of them do, I keep two cards in every slot all the time. Okay. Then I often have these backup cards to travel with me. And I have a system too. So if I'm out shooting and I fill one up, right? So you'll notice in here that all the cards are facing forward except one, right? So that one has images on it. All right. So when I'm putting a memory card back, say you fill up a memory card, don't just put it back with it facing forward. Put it in backwards so that when you get back, you'll remember which card it is that has images on it, or maybe it's a corrupt card, but you'll be able to remember which one it is. Okay. So that's how I work. That's my system for memory cards. Waterproof case. And if I fill up a card, it comes out of the camera, and then it goes in this case backwards, so I'll know which one needs to be downloaded. Okay. Then if I want to take some extra batteries with me, I like to pack in threes. I generally take, I think I own 6 batteries for every camera body. I just don't risk, Lee, aren't they? They're $100 each. Yep. But I do not, you'll never find me having to borrow a battery from somebody. Okay. So I like these nomadic cases. They're magnetic and they hold 3 batteries. Now, obviously, this one is holding OM system batteries. You want to make sure you get one that's appropriate. You know, I had a client with me the other day. She still had a Canon 1DX Mark II that has those gargantuan batteries. Well, clearly that's not going to work for that. You know, this one won't. But so this is what goes in my camera case. If I'm going to be out a long time on a boat or something, I might grab this, or I go with my Think Tank solo battery. Okay. So why don't you just put a plain battery in your pocket? Well, this is a lot easier to feel and find, and gives it a little bit of protection from elements than just a raw battery. Okay. So that's how I deal with my batteries. Now, when I travel, I always take the original cord that came with my camera, and the M1X and the OM1, for example, both had different type of cords. The M1X came with a USB-A on one end and USB-C on the other. The OM1 came with USB-C on both ends. Theoretically, they both should work, but today I was just updating the firmware on the M1X, and it had to be this cable for my stuff. So I always suggest you travel with the original cable that came with your camera in case you need to do a firmware update. Okay. What if you were out and about, had internet, and you saw that, oh my gosh, guess what? We've invented facial recognition for whatever, you know, and you're like, uh-oh, I'm not going to be able to update my camera. Well, by traveling with the original cord, it'll sure make it a whole lot more likely that you'll have success in doing that. So the original cords that came with my camera are always with me. Okay. That's a very important travel tip. Now let's hop into some of the more sexy stuff. Okay. I need to disengage a couple of hard drives so I can show you the latest and greatest of all this stuff. Because Crucial just came out with some new hard drives compared to what I was using, and I want to be able to show you both of them. All right. Now, the latest and greatest is this little tiny Crucial hard drive. Now you can see how big this is. Here's my finger, right? All right, let's get a stamp. Here's a good size stamp. So there's a stamp. This is a 4 terabyte, 2,000 megabyte per second hard drive. Very fast, very small SSD, and I think I paid $269 for it. Phenomenally fast. So it makes uploading images go much faster, significantly faster. This was the Crucial hard drive I had before, which is 4 terabytes, I think 800 megabytes per second, and I paid 400 something for this. So you can see how much smaller they've gotten. They even have a little spot where you can put a clip for it. I travel with 3. I have 2 of these, 1 of these. I'll probably get another one of these. So these are my key travel hard drives, my external SSD. So they're faster. I have a SanDisk in that bag, but SanDisk quality has been going down. Never had an issue with these Crucials. So think about it like this. That is 12 terabytes of memory. Okay. 12 terabytes. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to let someone in the room. That is 12 terabytes of memory right here. So you can imagine how many images. So if I'm gone for a month like I was in the Galapagos in Brazil, I had no worries about running out of room. So I recommend highly you travel with SSD hard drives because you're going to be able to put a lot more on them. They're in terms of speed, right? You won't be sitting around waiting forever for your images. Look, I'm plugging all these back into my computer so we can use them here in a minute. Now, I recently found something on Amazon that I absolutely love, and it's the portable stick-on pouch, okay? And again, remember, I have all these links for you in that handout. And it looks like this. It's basically yoga pants for your hard drive, okay? And it sticks. You can peel it off and just stick it on the back of your laptop. So I can slide 2 hard drives into this pouch. I have one on each side of my laptop, and it just holds the hard drives for you so you don't have to worry about them coming unplugged. And you can even close it up and leave the hard drives on top of your laptop and slide it in your bag. But this is the again, portable stick-on pouch from Afterplug, and it will hold 2 of the small SSD drives in there. So wonderful little deal. I've bought several of them, put them on my laptops, and that way I can just put 2 in. I can sit on an airplane. You know, on an airplane when you want to work on it, and you've got your little tray, and you know, you get your laptop, then you got that external drive, and you're just, if you slide it, you're going to grab the hard drive on the edge of the tray and pull it out. I don't have to worry about that, okay? Kevin had been using Velcro, but then you got that Velcro can still come off with the Lycra yoga pants for hard drives. That's what I'll call it. Now, you know, you can actually see that it's going to slide in there and hold it really well. So that's something I now use quite frequently, okay? All right, so now what I want to do next is I'm going to show you a few things that are going to be really important here that I do to make life on the road a little easier when it comes to my hard drives and my system. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to pick this share. And if I could just get a little, a little chat amen that y'all can see that, okay? All right, just let me know if you see that. All right, and my chat disappeared for a second, so let me find my chat. There's my chat. Amen. All right, thank you. Hallelujah, glory to God. All right, now what I do, so this is the newest hard drive, okay? And I named it X10. That's the name of that hard drive, FOMEC for photo mechanic. So this is where I originally upload my images. So I rename my drives so that I know which one is which. I have the PhotoMech. I have Lehoy Lightroom Catalog, crucial 4 terabyte. So I'm going to upload images to one. And then after I go through them in Photo Mechanic, I'm going to import them to Lightroom onto another hard drive. And I said, well, Lee, gosh, why don't you just leave them on there? Because as much as I travel, as many images I take, I need a logical flow so that I can keep track of where I am. Because what if I'm halfway through a step and I get a knock at my cabin door, a client is wondering, hey, I can't find this, and I get drawn away. Well, I got to come back. It just makes it easier for me to know where I'm at in the process than if I'm doing everything on one hard drive, right? Then another one of the 4 terabytes I call is my backup drive, okay? So I've got one 4 terabyte drive that I'm going to originally move my images or copy from my SD card to that hard drive in Photo Mechanic, and I'll show you how in a minute. Then I'm going to cull in Photo Mechanic and do a few other things. Then, and when I import into Photo Mechanic, I can automatically make a backup to the second drive. So I no longer do that in Lightroom like I used to. Okay. Then after we cull and have the images we want to edit or keep, then I'm going to go from Photo Mechanic to Lightroom, and I'm going to move them to another hard drive. And that's going to be where my Lightroom catalog is while I travel. All right. So let me show you what this process is going to look like. So y'all are seeing this screen, right? So here's one of the drives. Here's the Lightroom. Now there's nothing on there because I haven't been traveling of late. But so I've got those 2 hard drives labeled and all good to go here. So And let's see, then I should have a third one somewhere in there. There's a 4 terabyte. There's a 4. For some reason, it's not reading one of them. I'm not sure which. It's not reading the back of it. That's okay. We'll show you how to do it. Okay, so let me stop that share, because I just wanted you to see how I rename my portable drives. If you leave them the same name, it's just going to be confusing. You normally can't use special characters when you're renaming drives a lot of times, and so the original name you may pick may not work. Okay, so let me now. I'm going to open Photo Mechanic, and I'll share that screen with you here in just a second. Okay. Now, why have I changed to Photo Mechanic? Let me show that screen with you. And if I can get an amen, somebody out there, let me know that that you're seeing it just fine.
I can see it.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right. Photo Mechanic, when if I'm taking, 5,000 images in half a day. So in Brazil on the Pantanal workshop, I was blown away at how many subjects I had within a quarter-mile walk of the first lodge. Kevin and I, we had 4 days by ourselves before clients came in, and we'd go out about 6 a.m. and be done at 7:30 in the morning. I might easily take 2,000 to 5,000 images because there were so many subjects: birds in flight, capybara, caiman, you name it. Incredible. And then we'd go back out about 3 p.m. until dark, around 6 p.m. And I might capture another 2, 3, 4,000 images. And I realized I need to cull after everything. So when I go out in the morning, as soon as I get back to my room, I upload images. I upload images after every outing. I don't let them build. Now, I know sometimes you come back, you're too tired or whatever, it's too late. That happens every now and then. But for the most part, I don't like leaving images on a memory card. So Photo Mechanic is much faster than Lightroom. Much faster at pulling images in. So let me grab my camera here. And the only thing I've shot lately are some fish in one of my aquariums. I started putting together some freshwater planted aquariums here at my wife's apartment. I can't keep them out in Fort Davis, but I can here now. Let me stop sharing my screen so you can see this one. Now, when it comes to your equipment, when it comes to memory cards, I have a way you can save money. Okay, memory cards are often very expensive. I use the ProMaster Rugged. This is a 256. That's a bigger one. I generally like more smaller ones than one bigger one. That way, if something goes down, I'm not out a whole lot more money, and I'm not out a lot of images, right? Potentially. Well, I've also noticed, though, with faster drive speeds are more images. So I've got a couple of 256, a few 124s, and a lot of 64, and quite a few 32. And normally I'll put a bigger one in the main slot of my wildlife camera, and then another good size one. Generally, like if this 256 is in the main slot, I've got a 124 in the second slot for wildlife photography. Obviously, with landscape, I'm not firing off 50 frames per second, or hopefully you're not. So I don't need as big a memory card in that body. Or if I'm doing macro, night sky, I'm not taking as many pictures, right? So good memory cards do not always have to be expensive. And the key is finding the fastest card for your system, because there are oftentimes, particularly if your camera's a little older, there are cards out that are faster, but your camera may not be able to take advantage of that. So look in your owner's manual, do a search online, and figure out, like, for example, with the OM system, we can do the UHS-2, which is faster. I want to find the fastest megabytes per second in terms of read and write. Okay, so just search. Like, say you just bought, I know the Nikon Z8 just came out, right? So let's say you go buy a Nikon Z8. Well, either open your owner's manual or do a Google search on best fastest memory card, and you're going to get a list. And so you're going to look at that speed, the read write, what's the fastest? Is it UHS-2, UHS-1? Most cameras are probably going to be UHS-2. Of course, the Z8 is probably going to use compact flash. I don't know for sure. But so again, the most expensive one may not be the best choice, because if your camera can't take advantage of that, you're wasting money. But I love these ruggeds. Now, we have to have a good way of getting our images from our card to our camera, right? I mean, to our laptop. Now, one thing I'll say about travel, I have clients that say, well, I just put my images on an iPad or this. I can tell you with the drive modes, if I'm doing wildlife, there is not I mean, they may have a 1 terabyte iPad now. I think mine might be 512. Well, this memory card's half the size of that. And that's assuming nothing's on your iPad. That's not big enough. Now, if you're going on a night sky tour and you're going to take, 200 shots in a night, yeah, that's probably fine. But I just am always amazed how many people don't travel with their laptop. I know it's more weight. I know it's more to deal with. But again, it's just so important to have good ways to store your images. So obviously your laptop then either needs a memory card reader built in, and thank God the newer MacBooks, they went back to a built-in SD card slot. Obviously, if you're shooting CF Express, or larger cards, they don't normally have those built in. So when you're looking at a memory card reader, look at how fast it is. Don't go cheap and buy an older one, because if you've got this high-powered hard drive, a high-powered memory card, and then you stick this slow card reader in between, you're not taking advantage of those faster speeds. Okay. So always be careful on the speeds. And I know a lot of you well, how do I know that? Ask, research, find a reliable salesperson you trust, and ask them, hey, listen, this is the camera I own. Here's my laptop. I want to make sure I'm taking advantage of the fastest upload and download speeds, whatever, read, write, not upload and download, but read and write. So here I have a built-in one in my laptop, and then I've got a docking station down here where everything's plugged in. So I'm gonna put my memory card in my docking station, and I think SD 4.0 is the newest for memory card readers for SD cards, right? So now you'll notice. Let me let you stop looking at me and share my screen so you can see what just popped up in Photo Mechanic. Okay. All right. Now, this is called the ingest window. It's a weird name for importing your images. And it pulls up, I have mine set so that when I automatically insert a memory card, if Photo Mechanic's open, it will open the ingest. Think about importing. I mean, ingest is such a weird word, but it is what it is, okay? Now, I rename my memory cards to OM system so that I know those versus all my other drives. So you can rename memory cards as well. You could call it OM system 256 number 1, OM system 124, number 2. You can give it whatever name you want usually, right? So here in Photo Mechanic, we have some things we can do that are going to replace what I used to do in Lightroom. So we're just going to work down through. So ingest, I pick disks. I don't like copying my images to a hard drive and then ingesting them. I like to just have this do it all. You could do both, but you're just adding more steps. Whoops. Linda was trying to get in and I missed her request to be admitted. So I'm going to pick where my images are, where they're sourced right here. Now, down here, I'm going to say copy all photos into the same destination. You could copy images to different destinations if you wanted to. I don't like doing that. I want to keep it more simple. And then I'm saying copy my folders directly into the primary and secondary folders. And up here, I'm going to define the primary and secondary folders, okay? Now, the primary destination is going to be the disk, the X10 Photo Mechanic. So this is my Photo Mechanic disk, right? So I'm going to pick that. I could say create a new folder. Now, these are images from my aquarium. So I'm going to say 2023 aquarium images. So I created a folder and I'm going to say open. So that's the primary destination. Now I can click this secondary destination. And now I can pick a different drive. Oh, right here, travel backup, crucial 4 terabyte. So I named it travel backup. I know that's my backup drive. So I'm going to pick that. Now I'm copying the images to the primary folder on my fastest hard drive for culling. I'm making a backup to my backup external drive. So this software is going to put the images in a different location for me. One is backup, one is for editing, right? So I've got that defined. Now, copy locked or unlocked photos. I don't ever use any locking or unlocking in my camera, so I just leave it on both. Copy raw photos only. If you shoot raw and JPEG, so you can choose copy raw and non-raw files. So if you shoot raw and JPEG, you want to select that. You can copy only your raw files. You can copy only your JPEG. So you've got an option there. Now, the next step is what I really like, metadata template, IPTC. So this is where, let me click this. This is where I can put in all kinds of information. So at the top, I have it saying aquarium images. Down here, my name, my title, my job title, I copyright Lee Hoy Photography, my credit, my copyright URL. If someone wanted to use something, how would they get in touch with me, right? And then I use my address, my email, and I recommend doing this on all your images in case you ever do have an issue with someone stealing it or whatever, want to prove it's yours. You can then put in the state where it was taken. I use this last in Brazil, so I'm going to delete that. And I can give it another name up here of the event. I don't need to do that. I'm not at a workshop. So I can come down here. I can save this as a template. So your first one, you could do save, and then you can pick wherever you want it stored. I'm just going to save it on my computer where I keep my photo mechanic. Okay. And then I'm going to call it Lee Hoy Copyright 2023 and save it. Now I can always load this particular template and apply it to all my images by just picking. So here I can go load, and I can pick that Lee Hoy 2023, copyright. Boom. Okay, loaded it up, close it. So now it's going to put that information in every image I import, which is really handy. I can rename my images. So I'm going to call, instead of having it be the 1001, whatever, as it gets named in your camera, it's going to be 2023 aquarium images. And then it's going to put the date and then a sequence number. So 001, 002. That's how I like to do mine. You can do yours however you want. And open contact sheets during ingest. So I want to see the images as they come in. So now I'm going to click ingest. It's not going to take long, or it shouldn't. Well, it's making a backup too, right? So we're going to go to my drive, which is the X10 Photo Mechanic, and pick aquarium images. Should be showing me my images. What did I click wrong here? Not sure why. Usually when I click on it there, it shows me my images. Let's move it to favorites. You can see it's moving those images over pretty quick. But now, there's the XMP file. Where's my images? Oh, I'm an idiot. Let's see here. Why am I not seeing my image? Oh, this is how real life is sometimes, isn't it? Right there. That's from the other day. Did y'all see? Maybe I know I didn't put them in. Maybe I put them in the wrong place. Let's see. Oh, today. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. There they are. So they're under 2023 aquarium images. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Sometimes what can happen, and this is a good lesson if it is, sometimes you might have a filter selected. There. Yeah, there we go. So, that's what happened. I had it. So see, sometimes when things always don't go smooth, I had this box checked and I was saying filter by ratings, but I haven't given any ratings yet. And I had it picked on 5-star. Well, I haven't rated any images yet. So that's why it wasn't showing them. So that actually works out well. Y'all got to see what can happen, right? So these are just some fun images I took of some of the critters in my aquarium the other day. Yeah, that one's not very good, is it? So let's go through my process now, my normal process. Well, you can see how fast you can scroll through, right? So there are a couple of things. You've got this big view, right? But it's kind of hard to tell how good an image is at this scale, okay? So what I like to do is I can cull 5,000 images very quickly now using Photomechanic. It's really impressive. So I just pick the first image and I double click, okay? Now I'm in single image view. And here's what I want to do, all right? Now, I'm doing macro, and this fish, to give you an idea, is less than an inch long and probably maybe 2 millimeters thick. It's a very tiny fish. And obviously I missed focus. So I only use 3 ratings. 1 is for images that are going to be deleted. And I'll show you how I assign that. 3, you probably won't use. A 3 means it's an image I want to keep for illustration purposes, but it's not a good image, or it's not an image I really want to edit, present, or share, or keep, but it would be great for teaching. And then a 5 is an image I want to keep, and I may or may not edit it. Okay, but those are keepers. So 1, 3, and 5. So I put a finger on the 1 on my keyboard, and I put another finger on the 5. And what's nice is as I give a rating, it automatically goes to the next image. So this is how fast I can go through. That's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 1, 1, 5, 1, 1. That one's nice, sharp on the eye, 5s. See how fast? You know how like you have lags in Lightroom? You notice how there's no lag in between images here? See how fast it's still going? It's helping you sort through very quickly. So I'm just going to go 5, 5, 1, 1. Whoops. I'm sorry. I got to click back on. If you ever click on another screen, you got to click back. Move that off the eye so I can see 1. Ooh, that's a 1. That's a 1. That's a 1. That's a 1. Not sharp. Not sharp. The tip of the snout, the eye sharp, right? I was dealing with, that's all blurry. Blurry. 1, 1, 1. Oh, that's too bad. That's a great pose. Lee, get with it. Very shallow. Oh, look at that. He's eating off the leaf. I missed focus. The body's nice and sharp, but the eye's blurry. Let's see here. Good Lord. Ooh, there we go. That's a 5. I don't like his lip position. That's a 1. I like that one. 5, 1. Ooh, 5. Oh, he's starting to look at me. Oh, look at that. There we go. Now he's eating off the leaf. That's a 5. Now, see how fast it moves from one image to the next, right? So I am assigning these ratings this quick, right? Just bam, bam, 5, 1, 1, 1. That's all I've got to do. Well, and somebody might say, well, Lee, what if you wanted to do a 2 and a 3? Well, if you can tell me the difference between a 2, a 3, and a 1 and a 5, I just found it's onerous. I am trying to go through up to 5,000 images at once at times. Right? I'm not here trying to decide if it's a 3, a 2, or 1. Right now, it's a keep or not keep scenario. Are you going home with me or are you not? Right? That's a 5. That's a 4. Oh, I got to click back on that screen. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 1, 1, 1, 5, 1, 1, 5, 1. Not sharp enough. 5, 1. 5, 5, 5. So I am, and if I have a bunch of the same that are pretty good, I'll just delete those. I don't care. I don't need 100 of them. So I'm picking 1, 1, 1, 1. You got too far in the frame. Oh, I wish you were a little higher in the frame. Those are all 1s. That's kind of cool. Too low. There we go. Now that's the money shot. This is called an Annie's Goby. So 5, I'm going back and forth. When I have a big stretch of good ones, it might be a few 1s and then a 5 to keep it, right? Oh, he moved on me. Little turkey's eating. I don't like any of those. Those are all 1s. See how fast I can go. Ooh, look at that. That's nice. Looks like a snake in my aquarium, doesn't it? That's a 1, 1, 1. We'll get through all these. Actually, I missed one. So now I missed one that I really like, right? Now I'm just going to hit the back arrow to get to that 1. So that's still a 1. That's not a 1, that's a 5. I like that. That's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 5, 5. And 1, ooh, 5. That my red really shrimp. That's underexposed. See my histogram on the right, way underexposed. I don't know what I was probably too enthralled with my shrimp there. Those are all just not even gonna bother trying to save the sharp ones. This is there we go. Now look, now I said, oh, wait a minute, I'm underexposing. Now I'm shooting through glass and I'm not perfectly straight on, so it's just not sharp enough, right? He wasn't right up against the glass, so none of those are keepers. Now you'll notice I went back to the very first shot. I'm done, and I just went through how many total images? Let's see how many are in here. I always forget where my count might be covered up by the screen. Yeah, I think it's covered up, but I'm gonna guess there's 300-400 images I just went through that quick. Now, how do I cull easily? So up here on the upper right is the filter, okay? And if I click this box, it'll turn that filter on. So the first thing I want to know is, did I miss any images? So I'm going to turn off 5, 4, 3, 2. Whoops. Turn that off. And these little arrows are small. It's easy to click them. So, okay. So all I wondered are there any images that have a 0? See the 0 star? No. So I didn't miss any images. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for 1s. And I'm going to select the first one. I'm going to scroll down, or I can do a Command A and pick all the images. 1s are deletes. So now I'm just going to go File, delete those photos. Yes, I'm sure they're terrible. And moving files to trash. And they're gone. Now my screen is blank because my filter is on for 1 stars. So I'm going to turn off 1 stars. I'm going to turn on 5 stars. So these are all my keepers, right? So I'm going to hit Command A, or if you're a PC person, Alt A, select all the images. Or you could click the top one, scroll down, click the bottom one, and hit Shift on that Shift click. So now these are the images I want to take into Lightroom. So we're going to go File, and we're going to do, I'm getting to that point where I kind of need my readers. Y'all bear with me while I try. Okay, so I'm going to go under Image, Edit Images with Adobe Lightroom Classic. So this is great. We're going to take the images directly from Photo Mechanic into Lightroom. So I'm going to click, take them into Adobe Lightroom. Do I really want to edit all the selected images? Yes, I really do. Okay. Now let me, I need to share a new screen with you. Let me share my Lightroom screen so that we can see that. Get back to Zoom and go share screen. And there we go. Okay. All right. There's our glorious Lightroom. Okay. So here are the images I want to import. So now we're back to importing into Lightroom like regular. Now, even with all the improvements, I now have an Apple MacBook M2, the fastest chip out there. I have tons of RAM. Lightroom is still fairly slow to go through new images, okay? I just went through all those images that quick and saved me a ton of time on culling. Now what I can do is just like a normal import. These are on that X10 Photo Mechanic drive, right? That's my import drive. Now what I want to do is move them to my Lightroom catalog drive. And you don't have to do this. You could keep it on the same hard drive, but it just helps me make sure I'm going through my process. Like I always say, I'm OCD. Kevin says I'm CDO, right? Because it needs to be in alphabetical order. And because I get interrupted or other things are going on, I like having a step where I can go, okay, I'm at this step. So here, I don't need to make a second copy like I used to for backing up in Lightroom because we've already done that in Photo Mechanic. All right. I still do build previews on standard. I don't go larger previews because it still takes time. I no longer rename my files in Lightroom because we've already named them what we wanted when we came into Photo Mechanic. Now, I apply a preset on import that gets rid of the default 40 sharpening in Lightroom and any other profiles because I'm going to import the best of my best in DxO PureRaw 3, and I don't want any settings to be applied until after it's been processed in DxO PureRaw 3. Now all I have to do is pick the hard drive or the catalog where I want my images to go. Now, this is my normal catalog on my laptop, but we're going to pretend I'm traveling, okay? So I'm going to pick up my portable drive catalog right here, okay? And I'm going to say, I want you to go on this drive in this subfolder, 2023 aquarium images. So it's, you see the folder. I selected my travel drive. So now it's going to move these images, or it's going to move them. So I'm not doing a copy, I'm doing a move. I'm moving them from one drive to another because I've got my backup copy. If something happens during this move, it's not a big deal, okay? So now we're going to click import, and those images are coming into Lightroom. And because I'm not importing all of the crappy images, it imports much faster in Lightroom. Much faster now. So let's go down here and find this adorable little Annie's Goby here while it's building the previews, right? Okay, so let me go into the develop module, and you'll notice my camera muted. You'll notice there's no default sharpening because I applied that preset. So
Lee, we're not seeing it. We're not seeing your
module,
Lightroom page.
oh, you're not seeing Lightroom? Oh, okay, shoot. I thought I just shared that. Let me thank you for letting me know, guys. Let me get over there and share my screen. Okay. Let me pick Lightroom here. Okay, here we go. Okay, how's that?
Much better.
Okay, thank you. I so appreciate you doing that, John. Thank you very much, bud. Because I want this to be good for y'all. And if you can't see it, it's kind of hard. So now we're in Lightroom here. Okay, all the images are imported, and we are going to edit this image. Now, I don't normally like the micro four thirds crop. I still like the look of a full frame crop, right? But because I'm going to be editing, and normally I had it imported like this in Lightroom, but you'll notice that's not the case with now when I applied that preset, because I want the whole image to go into DxO PureRaw 3. And if you look, this is a pretty high ISO. This is ISO 12.8, right? So we're going to be amazed at how well DxO PureRaw 3 does. Now, let's say we're ready to process this image in DxO PureRaw 3. We're going to right-click, export, process with DxO PureRaw 3. Now, if it's your first time to have used it, it is going to pull up and ask you to download a lens profile based on your camera system, okay? I've done it with this lens before, so it didn't ask me, but if you need to download it, yes, download it. Now, I always do Deep Prime XD, which is the strongest processing that it can do. I always do my lens softness correction, vignetting, chromatic aberration, lens distortion. I want to get a DNG file. I don't want a JPEG or a TIFF. I want a raw file to work with. DNG is Adobe's raw file format. So I still have a raw file even after this goes through DxO PureRaw 3. It's going to create a folder under the original folder for my DxO images, and it's going to export it back into Adobe Lightroom Classic. You want to make sure that is selected. And I'm just going to hit start processing. Okay. Now, if you got an older laptop or computer, this can take a while. It's very, very intense on the calculations, but wait until you see how clean the resulting image is. So right now it's finished processing. So now it's going to import it back into Lightroom.
We're not seeing anything except that.
Waiting on that to happen. Let me find my my chat in case someone's posting why is it not showing there? There we go. All right, now. So Sheila, you can't see anything right now? Let me know. Hop in the chat and let me know if you can see it. Oh, it's fixed. Okay. Shoot. Okay. So now you can see how, let's compare this. Let's compare this image to the prior one. Okay. So I'm going to pick both images and we're going to do a side by side. I'm going to reduce that. Now, so the original image is on the right and the processed image is on the left. Let's zoom in up here. Let's get in even tighter here. All right, look at the noise on the right and the complete lack of noise on the left. Look at how sharp that eye is. That's ISO 12800, right? Amazing the difference it makes in your images, okay? Really, really nice. Any image of mine that you've seen in probably the last 8 months has been processed in DxO PureRaw 3. If it's good enough to go out, it's good enough to go through there. It just makes that big a difference. And clearly, it's intensive. I don't edit every single image in DxO PureRaw 3. I'm only editing the best of the best of the best of the best. And I won't edit an image until I need to, and just because of time for me, right? So let's just select our, whoops, I got to take it off the compare. So now we want to pick our edited file. Now you'll notice it's harder to see, but down here at the film strip, the original raw file has a 5-star. Well, I don't want that. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to 5-star the processed image. Okay. Normally, what I'll do too. Actually, let me show you this. When I pull them into Lightroom first, the first thing I do is select every image. And I hit a 0. I remove all the 5 stars because not all of them are now 5 stars. Now I only want a 5-star, the best of the best. So that's going to be a 5-star. I saw John ask, have I compared the results with Topaz Photo AI? I actually went out and bought that software too, because I get asked that question, and I tested it on lots of different images, and I just don't like the results as much. I think DxO PureRaw 3 is 30 to 50% better than Topaz AI. The last time I tested it. Now, like with art, what you think is best and what I think is best could be different. But I bought both, and I will let Topaz Photo AI expire. I won't keep it just because I really like Topaz. And I tested it on, a variety of types of shots, different lighting conditions, different ISOs. All of the resulting images, they were different. None of the results were ever the same. None of the results are ever the same, and none of the results that I think Topaz overall was better. There were a couple images where certain parts of an image might be a little better, but overall, I still liked the results from. It's called DxO PureRaw 3. Here, I'll type. That'll be in the handout, Terry. But it's DxO PureRaw 3. I'll have a link to that software for you. Okay. So now I can just go about. Let me step back for a second. This process now saves me an incredible amount of time in editing because I can cull images much faster in Photo Mechanic. I'm only moving the best of my best images in the Lightroom, so it's saving me a ton of hard drive space. Okay. And now I just want to edit the absolute best of the best in DxO PureRaw 3. So maybe out of all these images, I might do 3 in DxO PureRaw 3. Now I'll keep the other images, but I love this pose. I love this look. It looks almost like if a dog were a fish, right? That cute little eye, like feed me, Lee, feed me, So now I'm going to go into the develop module. And the way I edit, once you use DxO PureRaw 3, you do not need to do any sharpening in the detail panel. We've already handled that in DxO PureRaw 3. You do not want to apply more of that, right? But what we can do is now I'm going to go apply my color profile. Notice how it gave a little bit of a pop. So let me go back to camera muted. So notice in camera muted, my histogram. I have no blown highlights. Watch what happens as soon as I apply the Adobe color. It brightens the image to where a few pixels here are overexposed. But remember, my original raw file is not. So I can recover that detail. So I am going to select the subject with a mask. Let's see what the result is. Boom. It picked the sharp parts of the image, which is what I wanted. And now I'm just going to pull the highlights down a hair and the white down a hair to recover the detail there on the nose. Let me zoom in. So let me go back to where I was. And let's turn off the overlay from the mask. See those red pixels? Those are the quote blown highlights. They're not blown in the original raw, only after we applied our color profile. So I can pull the whites down and boom, now they're gone. And I got the detail back on his little snout, right? Honestly, this image with the exposure, there's not a lot I need to do, but if I apply a little clarity, I can do a lot, but I'm just going to go a little bit. I might brighten the head just a hair, even though I had to pull the whites down, just brighten the head a little bit. Not much contrast. I mean, this image is really pretty well exposed. Honestly, not much else I think I need to do. Now I'm going to do, there's the 3 ellipses to the right of my mask 1. I'm going to click and say duplicate and invert the mask. So now I want you to select the rest of the image. Okay. Now what I'm seeing is its bottom lip looks like it might have been included in this. So I want to unselect that. I don't want to do too much that bottom lip. Okay, it removed it. So now I'm going to double check to see if that was included in the original mask. It was, so I'm okay there. So now we're going to go to the background. Let me turn off the overlay. Now what I want to do is I'm going to very slightly reduce the exposure just to make the head stand out a little more. Boom. Like that. I'm going to pull the highlights down a hair just so they're not quite as distracting. The background. Honestly, there's not much I need to do. Now, I like doing a little vignetting on an image like this just to highlight that attention on that head. Now, remember, I like a full frame crop. Okay. There's my image, right? 5-starred, I can find it again. And didn't really take that long to edit that image. So now I've got my image 5-starred, and I've run it through DxO Prime, and I'm all good to go. Now, what I find is a lot of clients on trips, they want to be able to share their images. So I need to retrieve my iPhone here. Let me so here's what I'll do. Okay. So let's say you're on a trip and you got the shot, you go with me to Brazil and a jaguar attacks and takes out the client in the front row, and you got phenomenal shots. You're like, I got to show somebody this shot. This is incredible, right? We lost Billy. He chose the front seat and he's gone. Boom, But it's tack sharp. I shot it a high. Lee would be proud. It's a high ISO. My shutter speed was fast enough. You can see it sinking its teeth right into Billy's neck. And you want to share it, right? So we're going to right click our image. We're going to export. So here is our Lightroom export prompt. Can you all see that okay?
Yep.
If you can see that, John.
I can see it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. So what we want to do, I have some user presets, but we're going to pretend for a minute like you don't have a preset, right? So we're going to burn to a full-size JPEG. We could choose to hold on, no, I don't want to export. I want to export to the hard drive. So we want to export to the hard drive a full-size JPEG. Now we don't have to go full size, but we're going to pick this to start. I'm going to pick a specific folder, and you will see here that I already have a social media folder on my laptop. That's where I take images I want to share. And I'm going to create a new folder called Incredible Aquarium Images That Others Need to See. All right. Being smart up there. Okay. And I'm going to choose that. Now, I don't want to put it in a subfolder. That's where it needs to go. If I wanted to rename it, I could rename the to a custom text. I like to go custom. And now I'm going to call it Annie's Goby. That's the name of that type of fish. Now here I can control how big my image is, either by file settings or image sizing, right? So I could say resize to fit. The long edge I think Instagram handles 2,400 pixels on one side. I mean, Facebook. So I picked 2,400 pixels. Okay. And I'm going to sharpen for screen. If it was going to be printed, you want to pick one of these, but it's going to a screen. And I want all my metadata included in there. Now, if you have a sensitive location that you don't want known, say you found an endangered bird that was nesting, you could remove the location info if you have GPS coordinates so other people couldn't figure out where that was. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom export preset, and I'm going to call it I should spell correctly, social media image share, right? Image sharing. So now I have this preset down here. I just have to click on it and everything's set. I just retype the file name. So we're going to export that image. Now I'm going to stop screen sharing and I'm going to open up my Finder, and then I'll share that with you here. Let me do a screen share, and we're going to go to Finder. Okay. Now, you know, on the sharing your images like to your phone is ultimately what I'm going to get you to. You could share it to your iPad as well, but I'm going to use AirPlay. Now with Apple, you can use AirPlay. I just brain farted. I don't remember what it does. Any of you Android users, what's your AirPlay equivalent where you can just drop a file from your hard drive to your phone? What's that called? I don't remember what that's called in Android. Any Android phone? Maybe there's nobody out there that's using Android. Okay. So I often have images on my phone the same day I took them, right? Edited images. People are like, well, how'd you do that? Well, here's how I do it. Okay. I go into my social media folder. I find the image. Here's the image of my Be Right. I'll make it a gallery so you can see. So there's my image. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to share that with my iPhone. So I make sure my iPhone is open and findable. So now I want to drag this over to AirDrop. Let it select. And now you see my iPhone comes up. All I have to do is drag and drop it. And it's sending that image from my laptop to my phone. Okay. Now you can see, let me stop screen sharing. Now that image is already on my phone, ready to be shared with all my friends and family. Okay. So that is from beginning to end. Use the equipment. That's my travel workflow process, all the way to the point where my image is now on my phone. Okay. That's what I do on every trip now. This is a newer photo mechanic, probably came back into my life about 5 months ago. I tried it. It just didn't fit at the time. And then I got to pour out, no, I know how I need to use it now. And I love it. So yes, it's another software to buy, but it saves me hours, literally hours of time dealing with post-processing. You saw how fast. Now, Waleed, you go that fast? Yes, I can go very fast. I just stare at the screen, bam, 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 bam. You don't have to go that fast. You know, you may not have to worry about getting through as many images as I do, but it is still a huge time saver. And I know, you know, the culling process, it's fun to find great images. It's not fun sitting there going, yeah, bad, bad, bad. But this way, 1, 5, 1, 5, rather than 1, oh, that's a 3, oh, that's a 4, oh, no, just create your categories. Then when you get the better ones in the Lightroom, that's where you could be a little more selective, right? You can compare different images side by side. So I've been talking for about an hour and a half straight. What I'd like to do is, you guys know how to unmute yourself, right? Let's open it up, and you guys can turn on your video if you want so I can see. I'm fine with that too. And feel free to open up, and or you can raise your hand, and then I can say, okay, yeah, you go with your question. But let's take some questions, or if you want to type your question into the chat. But let's talk about some of the things that may not have been clear for you.
Lee, this is John Epler. Have you found a way to do a transfer of your photo images to a hard drive without your laptop?
For a while there was a company that made a device, and it's not coming to me. It was very expensive, and it had a little screen. The more expensive model had a screen that you could see, and I didn't grab one. And I like testing stuff, but for the price and as fast as hard drive stuff changes, you're locked into that device. You spent so much money for it to look at it. And even short answer is no, John, I haven't. And I'm sure there's some devices out there, but for the price of them, like as much as that thing was, you could have bought a small laptop. I mean, it was $800 when it first came out with a screen, and it wasn't that big in terms, so for me, the value's just not there. If that's what you were going to do, and if you don't take as many images as I do, then I'd go with an iPad. But again, even a big iPad, I think the biggest one is there a 1 terabyte model? There might be a 1 terabyte model out there. If so, that would probably handle a lot. I just don't ever want to be left where I'm in the lurch with not enough memory. That's the challenge. I have not seen any of those devices in a while, because laptops, in some respects, even a cheaper MacBook, with a portable hard drive, at least it's functioning as a screen. So those fell out of favor. I haven't even seen an ad for anything like it on Facebook in forever. And if it's out there, you'll see an ad for it on Facebook. All you got to do is talk loud enough next to Siri, and eventually you'll see it, or Alexa, right?
In my case, I'm getting to be about 78 years old. I'm finding it more difficult to carry a 17-inch laptop with me when I go to the field. So my intention is try and figure out a way to lose weight of what I'm carrying. So looking at a lower weight laptop is really kind of a task for me to be able to figure out how to get my images transferred. To be honest with you, when I'm in the field, I'm not sure I really want to spend time post-processing.
If I don't, they don't get post-processed. I have very little time, and that's not true for a lot of y'all. I know that. My biggest thing is I just know the backup system without it is so difficult. Now, your other option is buying skid loads of, memory cards. And some people, I see some people do that on trips. I feel better with those, with drives. Losing a case, it's a whole lot harder to lose this than it is my laptop. But I get what you're saying. I mean, the other day coming back from Brazil, if you've never been to the Sao Paulo airport, it is gargantuan. It's the largest city in the Western Hemisphere, and it's ungodly big. I'd not been there before, right? And so the kicker is, for me, we were running a little late. We got in late on our first flight, and I'm running through this massive airport. Thank God I had my roller bag and my laptop. Man, it was tiring getting over there. I won't lie, it was tiring. So I understand it is tiring. It is a lot of weight, but I haven't found a better solution for me. I haven't found one. I did go ahead and get I've had a 17-inch laptop, and that was big. This one, I think I went with 16, but I'm still, I'm okay carrying it. Will I always have a bigger laptop? I know this. I used to have an iMac and a laptop, and what I did was I bought a really top-of-the-line laptop and got rid of my desktop because I hated having to update stuff on every computer. So I wanted one computer. That's why I went with the NAS Synology drive. I can get to my images wherever I'm at, because the only time a publication ever wants an image is when I'm in the middle of nowhere. Right? Oh yeah, Deborah, you're welcome. Some of the things I do, you may not need to do, but at least you understand what I do when I'm out. Like, I want to be able to share images when I'm out in the field. You may go, I'm okay, wait until I get home. Then great, you don't have to worry about airdropping images to your phone, but it's sure fun to have your images on your phone the night you took them, your best ones. But I just, when you travel this much, you get to the point where this is how I feel comfortable doing it. I don't do this presentation, or most of them, for you to necessarily do it just like me, but just like the little just like the hard drive sleeves. That's not something you're going to get pop up on Amazon or a Facebook ad, but man, is that a handy little cheap too, like I like to call it yoga pants for disk drives, So, what other questions?
Go ahead.
Anybody else?
So I have one.
Okay, go ahead, Sheila.
Okay, so you take the images off of your cards, put them onto your PhotoMac drive, and then you copy the old ones onto your Lightroom drive. So then do you erase your PhotoMac drive after you got them onto your Lightroom drive?
Remember, I move images from the photo mechanic drive to Lightroom. I don't copy, I move. That
okay, so
saves
it's
you
empty
from
after
having
you've moved it to the Lightroom drive. And then the
Mhm.
backup drive that you copied at the same time from your card.
That's right. And I've got my backup drive. Then once I get home, once I get them all on my NAS Synology drive, I don't have to worry about keeping them on that drive. I can delete them because under my laptop right here, and I'm sorry, I have an extensive backup system now. To right here, I have this might make y'all, this will be like when my wife FaceTimes me. Okay, right under my ATM Mini Pro is a Sonnet Super Dock, and that has an 8 terabyte drive in it. Okay. So I back up images to there too. Then under my laptop down here is a 10 terabyte G drive that I do my time machine backups on. Then there is my 60 gig NAS Synology drive that I can access from anywhere in the world, my images. So now I can edit any image wherever I'm at. Y'all do not necessarily need all that, right? But this is what I do for a living. So I want to make sure that I don't risk losing these images, because I had one time a long time ago where I lost 30-something thousand images. And brother, if you think that doesn't piss you off to no royal end when you could have not made that mistake. Someone asked, I don't use Photo Mechanic. What's the cost per month or year? I think it's let's see here. Let's check it out. Let's see how much Photo Mechanic is. I don't remember. It's probably everything seems to be $100 nowadays, doesn't it? Tank of gas, $100. This try for free, of course. Buy. Let's see what they're going to tell us here. Oh, Photo Mechanic Plus is wow, they went up $329. You don't need the Plus probably. You could go with the Photo Mechanic 6, which is $169. Then upgrades are discounted. Okay. Yeah, you don't need Plus. I have Plus. I bought it before, because I was upgrading, so it was cheaper. So yeah, and the cost for DxO, I think it's around 100 and something too. And DxO, if you're going to choose between the two, DxO hands down, because it's going to make your images look so much better. Okay. If you say, well, Lee, I'm retired, I have time to sit there and cull through the images in Lightroom, and I'm not worried about how fast I go with DxO PureRaw 3. That's an easy decision. If you're going to make a choice between the two, hands down, go with DxO PureRaw 3. I do not worry about what ISO I shoot at anymore. ISO 25,600, no big deal. ISO 3200, no big deal. It's going to look just as sharp, just as beautiful as any other ISO. Okay, hands down. If you're going to make a decision between the two, the big thing about Photo Mechanic is getting through lots of images quickly. And I know Terry signed up for my Birds in Flight workshop down here on the Texas coast. I'm offering the Florida one that's OM system only. I'm probably going to offer Mastering Birds in Flight in Brazil and the Faroe Islands over time, because I love Birds in Flight, right? Well, you want to be using your fastest drive mode, which for a lot of the modern cameras is 20 to 50, at least frames per second, right? Well, you don't have to hold the shutter button down long at 50 frames per second to generate a lot of images. Okay. A lot of images. Yeah, I am too. Rockport will be fun. That's going to be my first of the in-person mastering bird. I created a system to help you work through mastering bird and flight photography. So I'm really excited to get that one going. And I'm going to change locations. I'll be doing them for Precision and Wildside. So that one I'm really excited about. It came to me when I was in the Faroes. I had some other professional photographers that were with me. And, you know, the first thing I do when I'm doing birds in flight is I'm going to look at the wind. I'm going to look at the background. I'm going to look at the lighting. I'm going to look at how the birds are positioning. And in the Faroes, the other earlier in the trip, I'd said to one of them I didn't know, well, hey, you should maybe stand over here. And he was kind of like, I got it. So, okay, all right, fine. No big deal. No. Well, 5 days later, after he saw my shots, he was like, and he was primarily a landscape guy trying to do wildlife. But, you know, you sense sometimes when people really don't want to learn anything. And I had said, okay. And I'd never said another thing. I just did my thing. And later, after he started looking at my images, he goes, you know, I should have listened to Lee and stood near him more. Well, I found a spot where the cliff curved, so the wind was coming at such an angle that the puffins were flying sideways to get to their burrow. So I got the birds coming in, and they would have to turn so they're facing me, flying in at awkward angles with this beautiful background. Well, they just had the ocean, no pounding waves on the surf, no green background. And then I said, you know, and at that point I knew that I wasn't going to offer, you know, when you're with other pros, some just don't want to hear, you know, suggestions, which is fine. I don't care. But then when they saw why, one of them said, I knew I should have come down there by you. I said, just understand this. If I'm out photographing, there is a reason. Usually I'm standing where I'm standing and I'm shooting what I'm shooting. Okay. So great, Gary. I'm glad you're coming down too. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. You're coming down on the birds and flight one. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll go over some of these things again if you're on a workshop with me, and we'll often talk about post-processing and things like that. But I just kind of want to share with you some of the equipment. I hate when people waste money or go, oh, if only I'd known, you know. So happy to share. Yeah, you bet, John. My pleasure, bud. John, I will add you. That'll be the Wildside Nature Tours newsletter. So if you guys want to find out about workshops and keep up to date, I'll get in there, you know, make sure I have your email, and I can either put it in for you, or go to Wildside Nature Tours website. Oh, let me give you the link to download tonight's PDF. Okay. Let me get right to that so I can pop it in the chat and you don't have to go hunt and peck for it. Okay. Because all the links to all the stuff I shared with you, I put in this handout. Just because I knew, like, you'd be like, if you're like me later, wait a minute, what was the name of that? What was the name of that little thing he stuck his hard drives in? Okay. Oh, sorry, I sent that to John only. Let me pick everybody. All right, guys, if you'll click on that link, it'll open up a PDF with all of the information about yeah, what did I scribble? Yeah, trying to read my handwriting is something. All right, guys, any other questions? If not, I'll let you get back to your evening. But if anybody's got a question, let me know. Click on that link, though, before we close out. This is being recorded, so it won't be on the Big Marker website. I will probably store it on my website so that you can watch it again if you want to. Okay? Yeah, you bet, Sheila. You have a good evening. It was nice visiting with you all. Thank you for joining me. I'm so sorry about the technological problems at the beginning, but I'll be doing Zoom from now on. So, yep, you bet, guys. Y'all have a good evening. Enjoy. I'll see a few of y'all here in a few weeks, okay? All right. Bye-bye, guys.